courageous, generous, and giving. She survived what you'll hear was really a horrific experience, but she made it through that, and because of her incredibly positive attitude, she's providing hope to others. And what I'm going to do is stop there and let Joy tell her story. So, Joy, come on up.
Thank you for having me here. I just want to say I'm proud to be with all of you. My name is Joy. I want to begin by talking about a phrase that my Uncle Ralph used to say. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And my story started on May 25th, 2011. Beautiful sunny day like today. Boston was coming off a rainy week, New England weather, and everyone couldn't wait to get outside, and I was one of them. My career was in fashion, and my passion was fitness, and I was looking forward to walking to my favorite neighborhood, Beacon Hill. The streets were packed. Everyone was in cafes and shopping. Then that sunny day went black. And I wouldn't be knowing or hearing about it for much time after that I was the woman in the news that was hit, dragged, and pinned under a runaway car. I suffered 3 skull fractures, traumatic brain injury, multiple broken bones, severe internal organ damage, nerve damage, and 2nd, 3rd, and 4th degree burns. Beacon Hill, Boston did everything they could to save me. First responders, firefighters, policemen, they had to get that car up. And when they lifted that car, my torso and my legs trapped to the catalytic converter lifted up with it. As I hung from the car, blood everywhere, my bones protruded, and I was burning alive, a police officer kept asking me, "What's your name? What's your name?" I couldn't reply. "How old are you? How old are you?" "I'm 35. Actually, I was 45. I couldn't remember my name, but I remembered to lie about my name. So you ask, how can a person be up here and talk about giving who was worried about how they looked when they were facing death? Well, a lot's happened since then. 6 summers ago, right around this time, I was waking up to my new summer home. It wasn't Newport and it wasn't Nantucket. It was the ICU at Mass General Hospital. I had been put in an induced coma. For the next 4 years, I would be their multi-trauma patient. Years would consist of surgeries, therapy, and endless doctor's appointments. Burns are different. I was a multi-trauma patient, so sure, I had a lot of injuries, but it was the burns that affected me the most. It was the relationship I had with the doctors and the burn survivors that I met. A burn doctor and their patients could be a relationship that lasts a lifetime. And my doctor was Dr. Jeremy Government. His smile helped my fear go away. His hope, his belief that I could get back to who I was made me feel stronger. He helped me fight the fight. His smile made my family calm. We knew we could get through this. Mass General Hospital saved my life, and that's why I'm here today. Burns aren't like other injuries. The pain is horrific. It's unmeasurable. The physical pain, you just can't believe you can live with it. And it wasn't until I went to a burn survivor support meeting and I heard other burn survivors talk about what they went through. Sure, they were filled with courage and strength, but then many of them said they felt isolated and that they couldn't go back into the community. They were afraid of how people were looking at them. They were vulnerable. They were insecure. Their confidence was stripped from them. Their dignity was gone. It profoundly affected me. I started to think back when I was in the rehab hospital, and I would have that conversation with God daily. It would first begin by praying, please get me out of here. Then it would be begging, get me out of here. Then it's bargaining. If you get me out of here, I'm going to get back to BSONE patients. But I didn't think it was ever going to happen truly. I could barely feed myself, go to the bathroom alone. I was totally dependent on my medical team. But it did happen, and it happened in a Christmas party. My boyfriend, Christopher Fiumara, wanted to throw a party to thank everyone who was there for us. It was 7 months after my accident. I could barely stay up till 4 p.m. How were we going to have a party? But we were having one. And that party got bigger and bigger each year. And then 2 years ago, I thought about that bargain I made with God, and I wanted to give back to the hospital that saved my life. I wanted to work with Dr. Government and help with the research to bring the best care for all patients. But I didn't know how to develop a fund. I barely use email. How was I going to do this? So I contacted the fundraising department at Mass General Hospital, and I met two lovely women, Courtney and Leslie. And I said, I need to tell you, I've had a head injury. I might not remember even this conversation. I have no social media, no Facebook. I hate to use the email. You need to call me if you want to talk to me. But they listened and they were patient with the patient. And we worked through it. But I still didn't know, was I going to be able to raise this money? How was I going to get the word out? And then my boyfriend again, Chris Fiumara, helped me develop it. I had the story, but he had the network. And I really feel you have to look at what you're doing when you're fundraising and not be scared of it and think it might be too small, because nothing's too small. And you've got to remember, if someone donates a little or a lot, still treat them all the same. They're helping a great cause. I actually sent thank you notes, written thank you notes. I raised a lot of money in 2 years, so believe me, with an arm full of metal, it hurt. But I felt it was important to give, let them know that what you did means a lot to me. And I was scared to continue with this fund, but then we did it again this year. I figured if I can do a skin graft, I can do this fund. And it worked, and we did even better this year. Research to me was always about the patient, about the person in that bed. And this year, my mother had an accident in December, and I became the caretaker. I had no idea what it was like to be a caretaker. When you are a patient, you're the superstar. You don't even think about what your loved ones are going through and how their life has drastically changed. But as a caretaker, I realized research wasn't just for that patient. It was for the loved ones who were exhausted, having their own praying, begging, and bargaining with God, looking for an answer, trying to find a cure, trying to get their loved one back home. Research, it affects the whole family. It can save a family. In order for someone to get well, it takes many aspects. It takes the love of your family and friends. It takes the skill and expertise of your doctors. And it takes the compassion and empathy of ones who truly understand. The doctors told my loved ones it would take 3 to 4 years before I would heal or come close to the life I once had. But I learned from my mom, true healing begins when you can help others and give back. When I look at all of you, I realize we're here for our own reasons, and they may be very different, and there may not be a lot of people here for the burn research. But I do know one thing, we share a bond, and our bond is we didn't just want to survive, we wanted to make a difference. And I'm proud to be here with all of you, and I want you to continue doing the great work. And thank you for letting me be your speaker. I'm in awe of being able to share my story and to hear yours. Thank you.